I'm Andy, and this is my 7-week update of my pregnancy journey. And I decided to break these updates into 3 categories. So first, I'm going to talk about the signs and symptoms I've been experiencing in the first trimester during week 7. So those early signs and symptoms of pregnancy that everyone talks about. I don't have any morning sickness, and I'm so happy about that. It's week 7. They say that morning sickness usually starts between 4 and 6 weeks, so I think I'm in the clear. I didn't have it my first pregnancy at all, so I'm not really expecting it this time. I did have a little scare, but that was just food poisoning, so no morning sickness for me. Also, the bloating and the cramping that I was experiencing the first 4 weeks, still very minimal, so that's awesome. Now, as far as the boobs, they are pretty plump right now. So that's kind of a fun thing for me, but they are pretty tender and sore, so it's gonna take a little bit of getting used to, but it's a small price to pay. I am loving the new girls, but it is kind of hard when I have my 7-year-old and he's jumping around, playing, hugging, cuddling with me, and he's elbowing me or like laying on my chest, and I'm like, ooh, 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 ow. So that is what I'll have to get used to. Now, let's talk about some not so good new symptoms that I've been experiencing in week 7. Number 1, constipation. And that is something you always hear that happens with pregnancy. And I wasn't quite sure if it was the actual pregnancy or if it was just this food poisoning, because I had a bad bout of food poisoning last week that lasted about 2 days. So I could not go to the bathroom for about 3 days after dealing with the food poisoning and getting all that out of my system. So I didn't know if it was the pregnancy or the food poisoning, but my husband did tell me when he had food poisoning before, it took him a couple days. A coworker said the same thing. It took them a couple days, or she said even it could take her up to a week to actually get back to her regular self. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's not the pregnancy. But she also said that a few things I do have to keep in mind is that if you're taking prenatal vitamins, there's more iron, and iron does cause constipation. So that's one thing. Also, I didn't know if it was because of the fact that I cut out coffee, because I didn't really have a taste for coffee anymore, and caffeine's not good for the baby anyway. So I cut that out, but coffee makes me regular. So I know every morning when I drink my coffee, in about 30 minutes to an hour, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. So I didn't know if that was what was keeping me regular all this time. So at the end of the day, I wasn't really sure if it was the food poisoning, if it was the lack of coffee, if it was the iron from the prenatal vitamins, or just me being dehydrated from not drinking enough water or not eating enough fiber. But by the end of week 7, I'm back to my normal self, my normal regular self. And I almost called my doctor to try to order a stool softener, but I don't like stool softeners at all, because to me, they just don't soften you up. It's just like, it just makes you like express everything. And that's not nice, that's not good. So I'm happy to say I'm back to my regular self. I'm just gonna keep eating my greens and drinking all my water that is necessary. So the other thing that I've been experiencing that is not so nice is heartburn. And it sucks because I'm getting so much heartburn, like bad heartburn, when I eat bell peppers. And I really love bell peppers. I made some homemade chili, put those bell peppers in there, and lo and behold, I am suffering from like heartburn every time I eat the chili. It's not like filled with bell peppers, they're just kind of sprinkled in there. So I know that is something I'm just gonna have to cut out of my diet, because it's just really uncomfortable. Another thing that I've been experiencing is moodiness. And I honestly don't feel like I was moody at all with my first pregnancy. But on the last day of week 7, I just felt moody. I just felt like I didn't want to be around people. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. And I was really up and down. I was in pain that day because of just going hard on my workouts and dealing with scoliosis. My muscles were really tight, so it was causing a lot of pain. So I'm at work, I'm trying to like get my mood up, get my energy right. I did my meditation, you know, said my affirmations to get me in the right mood and to have a positive day, even though I knew I was feeling like this. And I did good for the first part of the day. I even listened to Afro beats, which is a style of music I've really been getting into lately and trying to get in touch with my African roots. So I was listening to the Afro beats in the headphones, and I was really determined that I'm gonna do whatever it takes so that I can feel my best and not be in pain from this scoliosis. So knowing I can't just sit down, I stood at my standing workstation and I'm listening to the Afro beats and just moving because I get a lot of lower back and hip pain. So, you know, I'm working, I'm twisting my hips and going back and forth because I know I gotta get all this stretched out. So I was having a good time. And then towards lunchtime, I just started feeling a big drop in my mood. And my back started hurting a lot. So for lunch, I just laid on the floor. I closed my little office door. I put a towel down and just laid there on my back flat because my back was hurting all during lunch. So I just kind of closed my eyes and rested, and I honestly felt good. It felt good to be able to do that. So, you know, my mood got a little bit lighter, and then this whole thing happened with our office floors. They were being like buffed and shined. I go to leave the office because at 2 o'clock we get our recess where we get to take a walk around the building, and I hate to be cooped up in a building. So I was like, I'm gonna get out of here, get some sunshine in my life, get my mood up, get some more energy. So I open the door and the floor is still glossy and wet and I can't walk on it. So the technician is telling me, oh, we just glazed it. You can't walk on it for 20 minutes. And at that point, I really just wanted to get out and get some sun. So I know I probably had like an angry look on my face, and I told him, I was like, but I need to get out. I have to go. And he was like, you gotta go somewhere. I'm like, I have to go. Like I had an important meeting or something. But then I was just like, okay, whatever. I'll wait 20 minutes. My supervisor told me, okay, you can take your recess after. We'll make an exception for you. So I'm like, all right. So I wait about 30 minutes just to not try to leave and then get upset again. So I go out to leave in 30 minutes and the technician is right there at the door putting a second coat on. And I'm like, dude, I gotta go to the bathroom. And he's like, oh, it's gonna be another 20 minutes. And I'm like, why would you do that? I'm in here drinking as much water as I can, trying to hydrate. I gotta pee all the time. I wanna get some sun and I can't get out. So I'm just really feeling like trapped and imprisoned. And that is kind of really not my personality to be like that upset or to show anger like that. I'm sure my coworkers were probably like, ooh, what's gotten into Andy? Because they never see me act that way. So I'm usually so nice and pleasant and go with the flow, but I just felt angry that day. And I just really wanted to get out and it just wasn't happening. I did feel kind of bad. So I made sure to tell him like after, like it was cool, and I kept complimenting him on the floors because the floors, they did look really nice after. But I feel like that's just gonna be something I'm gonna have to deal with during this pregnancy, is that moodiness. And perhaps that means I'm gonna have a girl. There's, you know, all those hormones. I don't know, that's a myth, but they say sometimes like if you're moody, you're gonna have a girl. If you're having extra acne, you're gonna have a boy. Those are really myths though, so who knows? And that's the end of this video. So if you want to check out my 7-week update dealing with prenatal care, don't forget to watch that video. I'm doing each video separate. Prenatal care, my quest to only gain 30 pounds, so going over diet and exercise, and then my early pregnancy signs and symptoms, how I'm feeling physically, how I'm feeling emotionally, and things like that. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you can get a notification on my next videos. And don't forget to stay positive, keep shining, and do something just for fun.